Welcome to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Education Board.
Hello students, welcome to TV learning program. My name is Benon. I will be taking senior 1 students in biology. Dear students, you're welcome. I request you to actively participate in this lesson. And please, can you take your pen and book so that you can write down important points of this lesson. Dear students, how you know the beauty of our environment and what makes the environment beautiful? Excellent. It's because of the plants and animals we have in the environment. And my question to you is, are plants living? Yes, plants are living organisms. Another question is, are animals living things? Excellent. Animals are living organisms. And do you remember 7 characteristics of living organisms? Do you remember them? If so, can you mention them? Here we have 7 characteristics of living organisms. Together, can we go through them? Which one do you remember? Excellent. Nutrition. The second one, respiration. Who can mention the third one? Good. Movement. Because remember, organisms move from one place to another. Point number 4, excretion. Number 5, organisms grow. That means growth is another characteristic. Number 6, organisms reproduce so that they can replace the ones which are dead. That means reproduction. Point number 7. Who can tell us the last characteristic of living organisms? Very nice. Sensitivity. Good. These are 7 characteristics of living organisms. My question is, what do you understand when we talk about sensitivity? What is it? Yes, sensitivity is the ability of organisms to respond to the stimulus. I repeat, sensitivity is the ability of organisms to respond to the stimulus. Now, my question is, how do plants and animals respond to the stimulus? From there, we can go straight to our lesson today. Our lesson today is about plants and how they respond to the stimulus. Of course, it's from Unit 9, which is tropic responses, and the lesson is Phototropism and Gravitropism. The objective of our lesson today is to explain phototropism and gravitropism in plants. Dear students, I have talked about the term tropism. I also use the term response. I also talked about stimulus. Do you understand those terms? Let us start with the term tropism. The word tropism refers to the plant growth towards or away from the stimulus. What does it mean? The plant can grow towards the stimulus, or it can grow away from the stimulus. Does that make sense? Good, let's continue. When part of a plant grows towards the stimulus, that is what we call positive tropism. That means when one part of the plant grows towards the stimulus, that is what we call positive tropism. And when a plant grows away from a stimulus, that is what we call negative tropism. That means you must know what tropism means. Plant is growth towards or away from the stimulus. We can have positive tropism. We can also have negative tropism. Then there is also the term sensitivity. That is the capacity of the organism or sense organ to respond to stimulation. Like we have said, ability of the organism to respond to the stimulus. Then from there, what is a stimulus? Actually, when it is one, we say stimulus. When there are many, we say stimuli. These are things that provoke a response or activity, or that cause organs or tissues in the body to react in a certain way. Here, do you know different examples of stimuli? Here we can talk about sunlight. This is an example of a stimulus. We can think about temperature. We can also talk about water. We can talk about gravity. We can talk about touch. We can also talk about other factors. These are examples of stimuli. When it is one, we say stimulus. This can make the organ of a plant react in a certain way. Then we have response. The term response is an action or movement due to the application of stimulus. That means because of stimulus, organs of a plant can respond to the stimulus. So let us take an example. Here we have our plant. And do you still remember the main organs of a plant? Main organs of a plant, do you still remember them? Good. You are very good students. You remember what we talked about in Unit 1. The plant has different main organs. Main organs of a plant. Here, we can mention them. Feel free to mention them. We have roots, roots which are very important. We have roots. They are very important because they absorb water and mineral salts from the soil so that water can be used by the upper parts of the plant. Roots fix the plant firmly into the soil. Then, apart from roots, we also have the stem. Stem is another main organ of the plant. From there, you can see these green organs. How do we call them? Leaves. Excellent. Leaves. And then apart from leaves, what else do you see? We have flowers. So these are 4 main organs of a plant. Of course, when we continue, we can think about seeds and other parts of a plant. Now, we have talked about the stimuli, or when it is one stimulus. We have also talked about main organs of a plant. My question is, which one responds to the other? Good. Let us say we have this plant, and then it has leaves, or it has the stem. When this stem grows towards the sunlight, then that is phototropism. The response of the plant towards sunlight is what we call phototropism. And then we also have roots which can respond to gravity, and that one we call it gravitropism. These roots are also important in absorbing water and mineral salts from the soil. And if they move towards water, or where there is water, that is what we call hydrotropism. Then we also have other stimuli, and we will see them one by one. Dear students, let us say we have sunlight here, and then in the bucket we have plants. As you see, these plants are growing, or they are moving towards light. And this is what we call positive tropism, because the plant organs are moving towards the stimulus. Sometimes plant organs can move away from the stimulus. And let us take an example here. This is our bucket. Inside the bucket we have soil and water as well. Then we have planted this plant inside the bucket. Then as you see this plant, as it is growing, it is moving towards the upper part, or maybe let us say towards sunlight, so that these leaves can be exposed and have access to sunlight. But of course, it is moving away from gravity. So that is what we call negative tropism. That is growth. That is if growth is away from the stimulus. So we can have positive tropism and negative tropism. Dear students, do you understand the difference? Excellent. If you understand the difference, then let's continue. Now, positive and negative tropism. Here we have positive tropism, and here we have negative tropism. Positive tropism, growth in direction of the stimulus. That means the organ grows towards the stimulus. Then in negative tropism, the organ grows away from the stimulus. Then the stem of a plant shows positive phototropism. What does it mean? The stem of this plant, like you see, this one is a plant. This stem grows towards light. If it is going towards light, so that these leaves can be exposed and have access to sunlight, this is what we call positive phototropism. And then the stem of plant shows negative gravitropism. What does it mean? This is the stem. It grows upwards, away from gravity. So that is negative gravitropism. As it grows towards sunlight, then it grows away from gravity. Roots of plants show positive geotropism. That means these roots of the plant, they grow towards gravity. So that's why we say positive geotropism. Then roots of plants show negative phototropism. Roots grow towards gravity and away from the sun. That's why we say negative phototropism. Because if we say phototropism, that means photo is about light. Let us say we have the word phototropism. Photo is about sunlight. Then tropism is the plant's growth towards the stimulus. So meaning here, if the stem is growing towards sunlight, that is positive phototropism. Then roots of the plant are growing towards gravity. That is positive gravitropism and negative phototropism. Then from there, after understanding phototropism, or we can say phototropism is the growth of an organism in response to light stimulus. This phototropism is most often observed in plants, but can also occur in other organisms such as fungi. The cells of the plant that are farthest from the sunlight have a chemical called auxin that reacts when phototropism happens. This causes the plant to have elongated cells on the farthest side from sunlight. Let us see what happens. This is our plant. I hope you still remember the main organs of a plant. We have roots, we have the stem, then these are leaves, and then on top we have flowers. So this is a plant growing towards sunlight, what we call phototropism. And then roots are growing towards gravity. So in this case, we say positive phototropism, as well as roots are growing away from sunlight, we say negative phototropism. Here, we see the barrier shading the plant from sunlight. That means this barrier doesn't allow the sun to directly penetrate towards the plant. But when you see on the side here, we have sunlight, and these are the light rays moving towards the plant. This will make the plant bend so that the stem can bend moving towards the sunlight. So this is what we call phototropism. Then let us try to see or to find out the role of auxin hormone in phototropism. Dear students, do you know that as we have hormones in our body, like growth hormone, insulin, and glucagon, even plants have hormones. But of course, the hormones that plants have are different from our hormones, totally different. So one of the hormones that we find in plants is called auxin. And this auxin promotes stem elongation, inhibit growth of lateral buds. They are produced in the stem, buds, and root tips. And auxin is a plant hormone produced in the stem tip that promotes cell elongation. Auxin moves to the dark side of the plant. We are going to see this, how auxin hormone moves to the dark side of the plant, causing cells there to grow larger than corresponding cells on the lighter side of the plant. So this produces curving of the plant stem tip towards light, a plant movement known as phototropism. Let us see this. You see, this is our plant. This is the plant, and this is auxin hormone at the tip of the plant. You see, there is equal distribution of auxin hormone. But as sun rays come towards the plant, this is what happens. The auxin hormone accumulates on the dark side of the tip of the plant. That means you can see there is accumulation of auxin hormone on this side where sun rays don't reach, and we don't see auxin hormone here. Now, this is what happens. Auxin hormone causes the cell elongation. These are the cells. As you see, these cells are elongating. They are becoming longer. than the cells on the side where there is sunlight. So this is what we call phototropism, because this is going to make the plant to bend towards light. That is positive phototropism. And then on this diagram, as we have positive phototropism of the shoot, when we say shoot, we mean the upper parts of the plant. We have positive phototropism. We will also have negative phototropism of the root, because you know the root grows towards gravity, going away from sunlight. That's why we say negative phototropism. Leaves can gain maximum amount of light, which is needed for photosynthesis. Dear students, remember, light is a requirement for photosynthesis. Do you still remember photosynthesis? Excellent. The process by which plants make their own food in the presence of carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and chlorophyll. Then, what are the advantages of positive phototropism? 1, leaves exposed to more sunlight and are able to do more photosynthesis. When the stem grows towards sunlight, that means leaves will be exposed and they will be able to absorb sunlight. So in that process, then it means photosynthesis is able to take place. Plants are able to make their own food. Another point, flowers can be seen by insects for pollination. Remember, flowers are very important in reproduction of plants. So in that sense, when the plant grows towards sunlight, flowers are exposed. And when they are exposed, that means they can easily be pollinated by insects. The plant gets higher for better seed dispersal. Remember, we also have dispersal of plants, of seeds of the plant, so that we can get new plants. So in that process, because of phototropism, plants are having their parts exposed, and in this case, it is easy for seed dispersal. Seeds to be scattered in different parts so that we can have new plants growing. So phototropism is very important to plants. Then we have gravitropism, also known as geotropism. Is a coordinated process of differential growth by a plant or fungus in response to gravity pulling on it. Remember, when you are learning about force in physics, you talk about gravitational force, the force which pulls objects towards the Earth's surface. So gravity can either be artificial or natural gravity. It's a general feature of all higher and many lower plants as well as other organisms. This diagram is showing gravitropism, which we have also called geotropism. That means the plant is growth towards gravity. Now, you can see here we have roots, and these roots are growing towards gravity. That's what we call positive geotropism or positive gravitropism. Then when you see the shoot, when we talk about the shoot, we mean upper parts of the plant, stem, leaves, and flowers. So they are growing towards sunlight and away from gravity. That's why we say negative geotropism or negative gravitropism. Then, what are the advantages of gravitropism? By growing deeply into the soil, that means roots fix the plant into the ground family. By roots going into the soil towards gravity, they fix this plant family into the soil so that when wind blows, this plant doesn't fall down. Roots are able to reach more water because remember, water is a raw material, is a requirement for photosynthesis. Water is needed for cooling the plant. Water prevents this plant from drying. So as the roots grow towards gravity, they have access to enough water needed by the plant. Then roots have a large surface area for more diffusion and osmosis, meaning roots have enough space, large surface area, so that diffusion and osmosis are easy. That means water are able to enter into the root by osmosis. Mineral salts in the soil, like nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, and so on, are able to be absorbed by the roots. Remember, all those are nutrients needed by the plant. Dear students, let us make a quick review of what we have discussed today. We have talked about tropism, which is the plant's growth towards the stimulus. We have seen that we have different stimuli, like sunlight, water, temperature, touch, and so on. Then we have seen that organs of the plant can respond or can move to or away from the stimulus. So we have also talked about two types of tropism: phototropism, the growth or the movement of the plant towards the sunlight, and gravitropism, the growth of the plant towards gravity. Allow me give you homework to test your level of understanding. Question number 1, define phototropism. Question number 2, explain the role of auxin hormone in phototropism. Question number 3, what is the difference between positive and negative phototropism? Question number 4, what are the advantages of phototropism? Question number 5, define gravitropism. Number 6, give another name to mean gravitropism. Last question, what is the importance of gravitropism? Dear students, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your active participation. I request you to do homework to test your level of understanding. I wish you all the best. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of the day.